Tucked away in the vast cold waters of the North Atlantic Ocean lie two remarkable islands, Iceland and Greenland. These are not mere specks of land, they are colossal masses that anchor the top of our world. Iceland, an island nation crackling with geothermal energy, volcanoes and glaciers, is aptly known as the land of fire and ice. It sits just below the Arctic Circle, a solitary outpost of European civilization that is geologically and culturally unique. A place where the Earth's crust is literally pulling itself apart. It is a nation of stark beauty and resilient people shaped by its isolation. To its west lies Greenland, a continental island of staggering proportions. It is the world's largest island, a vast expanse of ice and rock that could swallow entire countries. Over 80% of its surface is covered by a permanent ice sheet, a relic of the last ice age that holds a significant portion of the Earth's fresh water. This great white desert, however, conceals a rocky coastline dotted with fjords, mountains, and small settlements where its sparse population resides. Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, a land where ancient Inuit traditions meet the challenges of the 21st century. Together, these two islands form a critical gateway between the Atlantic and the newly opening Arctic. Their location is no accident of cartography, it is a point of immense strategic importance. Think of the globe not as a flat map, but as the sphere it truly is. From this perspective, Greenland and Iceland form a crucial corridor, a choke point between continents. This stretch of water, known as the Giayuk Gap, for Greenland, Iceland, and the United Kingdom, has for decades been a focus of military planners. It is the primary route for naval forces moving between the Arctic Ocean and the open Atlantic. Controlling or monitoring this passage means having a say over who and what moves through this vital northern waterway, a fact that has not been lost on global powers. The strategic value of these islands is a story written in longitude and latitude. They command the shortest air routes between North America and Europe, a fact that became critically important during the conflicts of the 20th century. Today, as the Earth's climate changes and the polar ice caps recede, their importance is only growing. New shipping lanes are emerging through the Arctic, promising to slash travel times between Asia, Europe, and North America. The nations that control the access points to these new routes will hold significant economic and political power. Greenland and Iceland stand as the sentinels of this new Arctic frontier, magnificent and imposing. The story of these islands begins with brave explorers who sailed into the unknown. Iceland was first settled in the 9th century by Norsemen, Vikings from Norway seeking new lands free from the rule of kings. They established a unique society governed by a parliamentary assembly called the Althing, one of the oldest in the world. For centuries, this remote island society thrived, creating a rich literary tradition of sagas that tell epic tales of its heroes and families. Eventually, however, internal strife led to Iceland falling under the rule of Norway, and, later, the Danish crown. This long period of foreign rule did not erase the Icelandic spirit of independence. Greenland's human history stretches back even further, with waves of migration by Arctic peoples over thousands of years. The ancestors of the modern Inuit population, the Thule people, arrived around the 13th century, mastering the harsh environment to build a life based on hunting and fishing. Norse explorers, including Eric the Red, also established settlements in southern Greenland around the same time they were settling Iceland, but these colonies mysteriously vanished after a few hundred years. It was not until the 18th century that Denmark re-established a colonial presence, claiming the vast island for its kingdom and beginning a new chapter in its history. The 20th century was a period of profound transformation for both islands, a time when the world's great powers began to take notice of their strategic placement. During World War II, both Iceland and Greenland became pivotal to the Allied war effort. After Denmark was occupied by Germany, British and later American forces occupied Iceland to prevent it from falling into enemy hands. This period accelerated Iceland's journey toward full sovereignty, and in 1944, the nation declared itself an independent republic. It went on to become a founding member of NATO, cementing its alignment with the West while carefully guarding its newfound independence. Greenland's journey has been different but equally significant. While it remains part of the Kingdom of Denmark, it has moved steadily towards self-governance. In 1979, it was granted home rule, and in 2009, it gained self-rule. giving its local government control over most domestic affairs, including its vast natural resources. Denmark still manages its foreign policy and defense, but Greenland now has the constitutional right to seek full independence through a referendum. This path towards sovereignty has been driven by the Greenlandic people's desire to control their own destiny, a sentiment that looms large in any discussion about the island's future. In the 21st century, the importance of Iceland and Greenland has shifted from being purely about location to also being about what lies beneath the ice. As the planet warms, Greenland's massive ice sheet is melting at an accelerating rate. This environmental crisis is paradoxically unveiling a potential economic treasure trove. Geologists believe the island's bedrock is rich in untapped natural resources, including oil, natural gas, uranium, and most critically, rare earth minerals. A 2023 European Union survey confirmed that Greenland holds 25 of the 34 raw materials deemed critical for modern technology, from smartphones and electric vehicle batteries to advanced defense systems. This mineral wealth has turned the Arctic into a new frontier for global competition. Nations like China and Russia are keenly aware of Greenland's potential and have been increasing their economic and scientific presence in the region. For the United States and its European allies, ensuring that access to these critical resources does not fall under the control of strategic rivals is a matter of economic and national security. The nation that secures a foothold in Greenland's emerging mining sector could gain a significant advantage in the global supply chain for decades to come, making the island a focal point of geopolitical maneuvering. Beyond resources, the melting Arctic is opening up new maritime highways. The fabled Northwest Passage and the Northern Sea Route are becoming increasingly navigable, offering shipping companies the potential to cut thousands of miles and weeks of travel time from journeys between Asia and the West. This transformation will redraw global trade maps, and Greenland and Iceland are perfectly positioned to become key hubs for logistics, shipping services, and search and rescue operations in this new Arctic corridor. Their strategic location, once important for military fleets, is now becoming just as crucial for commercial ones, adding another layer to their immense value. This convergence of resources, routes, and rivalries makes the region a potential flashpoint. The United States has long maintained a military presence in Greenland at Pituffik Space Base, formerly Thule Air Base, a critical site for missile defense and space surveillance. This base, established by a 1951 treaty with Denmark, serves as America's northernmost military installation. As Russia expands its military infrastructure in the Arctic and China declares itself a near-Arctic state, the United States sees strengthening its position in Greenland as essential to countering its rivals and protecting its interests in this rapidly changing and strategically vital part of the world. The notion of the United States acquiring Greenland is not a new invention of modern politics. It has roots that stretch back over 150 years. In 1867, just after purchasing Alaska from Russia, Secretary of State William Seward also explored the possibility of buying Greenland and Iceland. The idea was shelved, but it resurfaced after World War II. In 1946, President Harry Truman secretly offered Denmark $100 million in gold for Greenland, viewing it as a vital strategic outpost for the Cold War. The offer was politely but firmly rejected by the Danes, who valued their sovereignty over the island. This historical interest roared back into the headlines with Donald Trump's presidency. In 2019, he publicly floated the idea of buying Greenland, describing it as essentially a large real estate deal. Since his return to office in 2025, this interest has intensified into a stated foreign policy goal. Citing the need to counter Russian and Chinese influence, the Trump administration has declared its intention to bring Greenland into the United States fold, with aide Stephen Miller calling it the formal position of the U.S. government. This pursuit has been aggressive, exploring direct purchase, financial incentives for Greenlanders, and even veiled military threats. This modern push for acquisition mirrors America's historical pattern of territorial expansion. The United States grew to its current size not by chance, but through a series of strategic purchases, annexations, and conflicts. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the size of the young country. The annexation of Texas in 1845, and the acquisition of California following the Mexican-American War in 1848, extended the nation to the Pacific. And the purchase of Alaska in 1867, once derided as Seward's folly, is now seen as a masterstroke of geopolitical foresight. The Trump administration's approach to Greenland is viewed by some as the next logical, if controversial step in this long history. However, the world of the 21st century is not the world of the 19th. The proposal has been met with overwhelming opposition. The people of Greenland, while aspiring to independence from Denmark, have no desire to be absorbed by another global power. A 2025 poll showed 85% are against joining the United States. The Danish government has unequivocally rejected any sale, warning that military threats could shatter the NATO alliance. European allies have rallied in support of Danish and Greenlandic sovereignty. The idea of acquiring Greenland highlights a fundamental clash between 19th century expansionism and 21st century principles of self-determination, making it one of the most contentious geopolitical issues of our time.